We provided that the manufacturers of green hydrogen and green ammonia may set up their own renewable energy capacity anywhere they want. And we shall give them free transmission from that place to the place of manufacture of green hydrogen and green ammonia. They can also get the capacity set up by a developer. Even then, we shall give them free transmission, or they can buy renewable energy from through the exchange. Again, we shall give them free transmission. The free transmission will be given for all capacity which is set up by 2025. Is the first phase, and the free transmission will be available for 25 years from the date of grant. So that's a major concession. The other thing which we have provided is that we shall provide open access. So open access will be provided within 15 days of the application being submitted. And the open access will not come with additional surcharge, etc., etc. All that will not apply. That's another thing. The third thing which we have provided is that we'll provide for banking, 30 days. So that will also help bring down the cost of power, and the cost of power is actually the main input in this. We provided that they can get connected, they will get connectivity on priority. We've also provided that they can get connected straight away to the ISTS. So all this will make the operations and setting up capacity simpler. In order to make sure that there is ease of doing business, we are providing for a centralized portal with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, so that any application for connectivity can be filed there, any application for open access can be filed there, so that they don't have to run from one office to another. And once it is filed, it will be pursued by the ministry, and it will be made sure that all the permissions are made available within the time limit specified in this.
I think that green hydrogen is an absolute essential requirement for India as a country. The reason being that India imports a tremendous amount of fossil fuels, as we all know, almost $150 billion every year. And that number is increasing and will double over the next 7 to 10 years. Green hydrogen is a way for India to find some degree of independency from fossil fuels by replacing a lot of the grey hydrogen, which the feedstock for which is very often LNG, and essentially replace that with hydrogen that we can make within the country using renewable energy. So I think it's a very important method for us to wean our dependence on imports.
The price differential that you have currently between what would be grey hydrogen, as Sumant call it, and green hydrogen is quite significant. And that price difference is driven both by the cost of generation of electricity, which is more than 50% of the cost of generating that green hydrogen, and that includes the cost of distribution and then the electrolysis part of it. What the government's trying to do is to address each part of that cost equation. The first, I think, on the electricity side, especially on the transmission side, the hydrogen announcement yesterday goes a long way in addressing some of the questions. Some of the state elements of what the state governments have authority and ability to do is still an open bit, but it's a step in the right direction.
Looking at some of these newer technologies like hydrogen and fuel cell, obviously from a Cummins standpoint, we have a new division globally called New Power, which principally focuses on these technologies. And therefore, as we look at it, where we stand today, obviously there is a fair amount of interest from some of our customers to look for these solutions. And we are actively engaged with some of the customers to really put in place what I would call initially as a demonstrator units to establish the technology, establish the operating environment in which it can function, and then look at ways in which it can expand and gain scale for a much broader and deeper application in the economy.
Government Ministry of Power's yesterday's announcement of waiving the ISTS charges and allowing the banking of the renewable electricity is a great fillip in advancing the hydrogen economy in our country, and it also shows the firm resolve in line with the spirit of what our Honorable Prime Minister has announced in the Glasgow Summit, that India is going to be a net zero country by 2070. And for achieving that goal, green hydrogen is the ultimate green energy option. And for that, this is one of the biggest enablement, and this is one of the decisive government's resolve in advancing this concept of green energy.